my toy friends, it's me Kayla, back with another video. Happy Friday! We survived the week. Today I'm participating in a weekly tag put on by Little Waddle Nursery, that is Kitty and her daughter Toddy, and they have a weekly tag called Casual Fun Friday. And I believe for this month it was, or maybe this week, it was Fancy Friday. I do not have any reborn dolls. I have a few baby dolls. So I'll be showing mostly some of my vintage dolls because I know that Kitty does collect vintage dolls and has some really beautiful ones in her collection. But I'll be showing some of my fancy dolls or dolls that might be considered fancy. I'm not sure. I thought, what better excuse to wear this vintage sequin top that I thrifted than on Fancy Friday. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my cabinet dolls that live in my china cabinet downstairs. First up is one of the two composition dolls that I still own. This girl, she was actually my first composition doll. Someone told me that she is a mold like the Madame Alexander Betty, but because she's not an Alexander doll, I just call her Bet. She obviously needs to be restrung. Her head is too tight, her arms are too loose, but when she came to me, her arms were not on at all. So I did get her back together, but I do need to restring her now that I know what I'm doing. And also her hair was in such terrible shape that I simply replaced it. I got her this beautiful wig, and I think it suits her really well. She's in really, really good shape for a composition doll, and I absolutely adore this Swiss dot dress that she has on. So that's Bet. Her and Buddy Lee are the only two composition dolls that I still own. I've had several in the past, but this southern humid climate is just not suitable for composition. I live in an older home. My house was built in the 70s, and the temperature fluctuates quite a bit. We have a lot of humidity, so it's just not a suitable environment for composition dolls. Okay, next up is my ideal Tony. She is from the 50s, I believe. She's a hard plastic, and she was actually restored by the Sewing Doll on eBay, who is the moderator for the Composition Doll Society over on Facebook, of which I am still a member because I still do have a couple of composition dolls. Also great information in that group. I just thought she was so beautiful. She gives me young Elizabeth Taylor vibes. But yeah, she was a fantastic deal. Tonys typically aren't very expensive. They were mass produced. They're not hard to find. But the fact that she was restored and is in this vintage dress, she has underpants, shoes, and socks. Just absolutely stunning condition. She was put up for sale, and I don't know if it's because she wasn't composition. She was $30 and nobody bid. So I actually purchased her on my birthday a couple of years ago. So we're coming up on the anniversary of getting Tony because my birthday will be coming up in about a month. So yeah, I just think she's so beautiful, and I would love to have the blonde version as well. I want to say she's P91 is her number. I believe there were a couple of different Tony dolls, but this particular mold is P91, and they're my favorite. And I think she's 15 inches. I showed my Madame Alexander Sissy Face doll that I call Beanie Weenie the other day, and she is Tony's bestie. I always put them together in the cabinet. Okay, now we've got a couple of Patsies. So we have this Patsy. Let's see. Yeah, just Patsy. I don't think she's, usually there's Patsy and Patsy Joan. There's a bunch of Patsies, but this one just says Patsy. So this one is a reproduction. These were made around 97, and I'm not sure which style she is. This one I found at the Goodwill, so she's not perfect. She's got some stains on her clothing that I couldn't get out, and she's got some rust stains on her body. So that's why I kept this one. It's much easier for me to justify keeping a flawed doll because, they're less likely to sell. If they do, it's for a lower price. So I'm like, oh, well, that's okay. I can keep that one. It's much harder for me to keep a pristine doll. And then we also have, I want to say this one's Patsy Joan. Yes, Patsy Joan. This one is the birthday edition, and this one actually says 1994 on her neck. And I believe these are from when Robert Tonner was still with F&B. I'm not 100% on that. She also has Swiss dots. This is her 50th birthday edition doll. She came with a little cake. I still have her box. She has her COA. And I just tied this. I don't think I gave her this bow. I think she came with it. Yeah, it's got a stitch in it. So this is the bow that she came with. It's hard to tell because so many of my dolls have bows. I can't remember who I gave a bow to or who came with a bow. Yeah. 1994. She's just beautiful. She looks a lot like the composition one, and she feels like hard plastic, but this one's actually a reproduction. I found one just like this in an antique store one time and asked the price, and the lady was like, well, it's $75 because it's composition, and like drummed her fingernails. Okay, that's not what composition sounds like. And I knew that, but I wasn't going to argue with the lady. I was just like, okay. A little bit higher on the composition. Composition is more of a shell. I don't know. If you've held them, it's easier to tell, but I understand it's very hard to understand if you've never held these dolls in person. Okay, and then this girl, she's dressed a little bit plainer than the other ones, but I consider her a fancy doll because she is a collector doll. So this is my Robert Rakes doll. Her name escapes me at the moment, but she is carved from wood. And she's in this lovely dress. I think she came from someone's attic. Her dress has a couple of spots I wasn't able to get out. But I did wash her dress, and I also cleaned her body. I just think she's lovely. The Robert Rakes is best known for his bears carved from wood. They're like stuffed bears, but their heads, their paws are made from wood. And at some point he made these dolls. There's a couple of different ones, and I was able to get this girl for my collection, and she lives in the cabinet with the other fancy dolls. Okay, I also have, this is a modern girl. This is my Madame Alexander Happy Birthday doll. I just love birthday dolls. I love the Cabbage Patch birthday kids. And I have a few of these Alexanderkins, and I really like them. But of course, I had to have her. She's birthday themed and pastel. She came with a little present. I got her secondhand. And I don't think there's a year on this one. I don't see a year. I'm not going to take her dress off. Yeah, she's got this really sweet embroidered dress. Just very cute. I know the Alexanderkins, they're plentiful, but some of them are really special, like that one. Okay, another fancy girl, just because she came in a fancy dress and she's kind of rare, is my Bluehaired Baby doll. Is she an EG? Maybe just Allied Eastern, because she has a circle with a 3 on the back of her head. So I'm not sure if she's even a brand, but she came in this dress, like a lace, and this might be chiffon, maybe not. Just really sweet, and the fact that she has colored hair makes her a little bit more uncommon, and I just love her. I have her, and I have one that's like a Miss Revlon clone that has pink hair, and those are my only vintage dolls with colored hair. I would love to have more. And then of course we have little Miss No Name, who came to me as a poor orphan, and now she is dressed as a little princess. So she certainly improved her station in life by coming and living with me. Poor thing, she's had a haircut. She came to me in an old tattered dress, and I put her in this pretty pink party dress, and we can only go up from here. Isn't that right? I wanted a little Miss No Name for so long, and she is one of the more expensive dolls in my collection. So those are my fancy dolls for Fancy Friday, as part of the Casual Fun Friday hashtag. Let me know what you liked, what you thought. Are you participating? I'd love to watch your video. Let's have a conversation down in the comments. Remember, the world is a better place with you here in it, and you matter. By the way, I like you just the way you are. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!